Greetings, fellow viewer. Now you've read the title, you know what this is going to be about, and I'm sure the most reasonable thing to have in your minds is the following. Anime? What is this weeb thing? Has this man lost his mind? The answer is yes, I lost my mind a long time ago. But before we get started, let me tell you something. If you're showing any interest in playing this game, even if it's just sickened curiosity, I would personally recommend going into it completely blind. Since the main focus of the game is the story, having it spoiled would ruin the entire point if you ask me. If you can spare the money, it's only 11 quid on Steam. Wait, sorry, forgot my audience isn't British. That's $14 and 56 centar men to the Americans watching this. So, yeah, play it if you're interested. If you already have, or more likely don't care, let's continue. Obligatory spoiler warning out of the way, let's get into this. Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action, good luck typing that in the Steam search bar, was released in June 2016, developed by Sukeban Games, and published by, is it Usprith Games? The best way to sum up the game would be as a dystopian life simulator waifu boozem-up visual novel. You take the role of a bartender called Julian Stingray, Gil for short, and your so-called objective in the game is to have friendly conversations with likeable strangers, while also getting them as absolutely wasted as you can reasonably get away with. It's comedic, heartfelt, and, on occasion, a bit emotional. Sounds like the perfect premise for me to bore you to death with for the next 20 minutes. After all, just what is it that makes this game so different from the rest? What makes this game tick, so to speak? And when will I stop asking rhetorical questions? In this video, I intend to answer these queries. Except the last one, not even I have all the answers. So, sit back, relax, grab a beverage of your choice, preferably non-alcoholic. I'm not a bartender and I don't want to get sued. And let me take you through this magnificent game. So, to start our journey of waifu self-discovery, I think it'd make sense to start at the very beginning. The year is 2070X. Story takes place in Glitch City, a city that shouldn't exist. And that's a pretty fitting description, because good grief, is this place a dump? Crime rates are higher than ever, big greedy corporations own pretty much everything, the air smells like a dirty sock, the mayor doesn't like instant noodles, wearing socks with sandals is now a crime. Actually, that one I can agree with. And life in Glitch City is, overall, pretty bleak. Why the citizens don't just hop in their flying cars and get out of there, that's beyond me. Anyway, what I just described to you never really gets shown to the player. Your only sources of information are from your clients and the local news tabloid. And by putting the pieces together over the course of the game, you'll find out just how really screwed up the world Jill lives in really is. I mean, the real world is, already royally screwed up. But I guess there's nowhere to go but down. But hey, it's not all bad. At least we have technology. Which means that not only will you be serving human drinks, you'll be serving robots as well. And this ain't your grandpa's bleepy bloopy cut man we're talking about. This is Reploid level technology. So I hope you're ready to be assaulted by a truckload of Lilim lore, because this game will certainly provide, especially from one character in particular. Oh, that's right, we haven't even discussed the wonderful cast of characters yet. Of course I can't go over every single character in the game, because then we'd be here for 10 times longer than what my attention span will allow. But I can at least make a comedic bit out of it. And when you're a sad little horny schmuck like me, well, you gotta fill the quota somehow. Buckle up folks, because it's time for what we like to call... Which waifu is laifu? We'll be discussing every single female character in the game in order of appearance, and ranking them out of 5 karmatrine. The karmatrine stands for how much I'd want to get them drunk, by the way. To clarify, the character must be stated as female to be eligible for the rankings. Male characters won't be included, and characters that are non-binary and don't go by male or female pronouns won't be included either. This includes Taylor, the talking brain, and Tomcat, one of the few secret clients in the game. Also, characters that are only mentioned, including Donna's friend Iris.
Iris!
Iris?
Iris!
Iris. They won't be included either, and this won't exactly be relevant now, but the character actually has to be alive. Sorry, we've got a strict no ghost policy. Got it? Great. Let's start off with Jill, the main character herself. Julianne Stingray is an okay waifu. Sure, her apartment is filled with empty beer cans, and at one point in the game she offers an injured lady a cigarette, but seems like a decent person. Donna. You know, Donna Zane might just be the coolest character in the entire friggin' game. She's a former wrestler, making her an excellent pick for a bodyguard. If you like spicy chicken, you know, if you're into that, just don't let her stick her head into anything, and you should be fine. Sai, or is it Say? Either way, she's a nice girl. She's one of the White Knights, who basically serve as the city's police force. Again, she would make for an excellent bodyguard if you're ever in a pinch. Halfway through the game, she gets caught up in a sort of terrorist attack and gets injured. We know if you're into that. Overall, pretty solid waifu. Kim. Can't trust her to keep her job, and she's a bit of a psycho. That, and she holds her hands up all the time like she's in an insane asylum. Don't her arms ever get tired? Best girl. I mean Dorothy. What can I say? If you've ever needed a happy little bundle of joy in your life, well, she's your gal. Also, she's a... which means she has experience. Kira Miki. Good luck arranging a date with an idol, I guess. However, she does get bonus points for liking tea. Alma. Look, I'm into blondes as much as the next guy, but those badonkadonks of hers will take up half the room. She is a professional hacker though, which could be useful. Also, her sweater is really nice, so bonus points for that. Stella. Do you think she hears out of those ears or those ears? Anyway, she's basically this game's stereotypical spoiled brat. In fact, when you first meet her, she starts spouting off a bunch of trivia questions like she owns the place and she's hosting a pub quiz. That said, she is rich, the money would come in handy. And I've seen worse spoiled brats in video games, so she gets a pass. Streaming Chan. She's as energetic as Dorothy, but for all the wrong reasons. She has a camera filming her every move 24/7, so if you want privacy then I'd suggest looking elsewhere. You can't go 5 seconds without mentioning that today's stream is sponsored by NordVPN or whatever. Aside from those glaring flaws, she's pretty decent. Betty. Okay, get this. She works at a dog toy company. I love dogs. Sounds like the perfect waifu if you like pets. Unless you have allergies, then maybe it wouldn't be such a good idea. Also, something tells me you'd be mentally exhausted if you spent more than a week with her. Norma. Geez, she's an underage kid. I may be horny, but I have my boundaries. Gabby. Also underage, no comment. Fella. She appears once in the entire game and is a literal cosplayer. You'd be surprised by the weird kinks people have though. Also, you may have noticed that she is cosplaying as a character from the somewhat infamous Y2K, but from what I've heard, that game was trash, so I'm not interested. If you're wondering why it's referenced here, it's because Y2K and Valhalla are both published by us for the games. Sentia, same as Vela, but she's a Lilin this time. Lexi, she's a private investigator. That could be useful, I guess. I know, not really feeling this one. She does have a nice bowl cut though. Jess, do you like big ears? Well, do you? And that's all of them. That is all of the waifus in Valhalla. I definitely did not miss any. That's every single one. Alright, fine. Anna, very annoying and will most likely ditch you to go get run over by a truck. 2 out of 5. So, wait, where was I going with this? Sorry, I got so caught up in the whole waifu thing that I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So, the set of characters is pretty great. In fact, I don't think there's a single one that I completely dislike. Yeah, they all have flaws, but that's what makes them interesting. For example, local cat boomer Stella appears to be a bit stuck up when you first meet her. She even assaults you with trivia questions. I know I brought this up earlier, but I need to stress. Who in their right mind would do that to a total stranger? Don't do that! But, I guess Stella's actually pretty cool once you get to know her. Or how the edgy biker dude Mario
In real life.
lets his perceived biker dude manliness take control of how he acts and speaks. If you take the time to listen to what he has to say, however, you'll find that he's actually pretty chill, and a bit of a femboy. Heck, even Dorothy has an existential crisis at one point, and you want to cheer her up, because she's usually so bright and cheery. You don't want to see her sad, do you? Unless you're into that. By serving your clients well, you learn about their problems and you get to give them some words of advice. After all, your catchphrase is time to mix drinks and change lives. Well, I mean, not you, Jill says those things. There's a reason why this game doesn't have many dialogue options. So that's all well and good, but how are those beats? Well, it's lucky that this game's soundtrack is absolutely phenomenal. And trust me, that word has earned its capital letters. You may or may not have noticed, but you've been listening to it this entire time. And I'm no expert on what makes music good and all that, but what I do know is that we've got some certified bop material in our hands. Each song beautifully fits the tone and setting of the game. Take a listen to some of my favourites. Yeah, this game has without a doubt one of the best soundtracks I've heard in my life. A bold statement, I know. It's just that good. And even if you don't like a song, you can always just not listen to it. As great as the soundtrack is, there are a couple that slightly missed the mark for me, so it's good to have the option to not listen to them. Unless it's streaming Chan's theme, I'm afraid you're stuck with that one. Speaking of comedic timing, how's this game's writing?
Nobody expects the
Dorothy.
Inquisition.
What, are you expecting it to actually be really terrible? No, it's superb, big surprise there. It's very consistent too. For example, Jill would always burst into a fit of giggles when the client mentions the name of a certain drink. But when Jill is sad later in the game, she no longer giggles to herself. Ah. And I have nothing else to say. Suppose I should start to wrap this up. But before that, I'd say it's about time for some self-promotion. Hey you guys, what's up? Fun Guy Gaming here. Did you know I'm selling merch? You know I'm very hip and trendy, because I am incapable of forming coherent sentences without cutting off the audio. Did you also know that a quarter of my 18 unique viewers are subscribed? Why would you do that? What's wrong with you? You should unsubscribe, just saying. Alright, self-promo over. Time to get back to the actual video. You know, there's something special about this scene. I can't quite put my finger on it, but this image of the moon with a giant hole in it, accompanied by the music and lack of text, makes the scene feel rather eerie. It stays there for a while too. And then it cuts away to this face and it's like, why even bother at that point? Anyway, I suppose to wrap this up, it'd be fitting to look at the ending and what happens to Jill. If you ignored my spoiler warning earlier, now's your last chance to get out of here. Or you could just skip to this timestamp if you want to skip it. Alright, for those still here, let's continue. So it's revealed at the end of the first chapter that Jill had a girlfriend called Lenore, but they split up later down the line. You also see a letter that Jill really doesn't want opened. It doesn't seem too important at first, and it doesn't go anywhere for a while, but later in chapter 2, you meet Lenore's little sister Gabriella in the bar, who was quite close to Jill during her and Lenore's relationship. Gabby then reveals that, oh, Lenore is dead. Jill didn't know this, and as you can imagine, things quickly get messy. Jill even drops an F-bomb on the poor kid, she's that distraught. And in the aftermath, Jill then proceeds to break down into tears and beat herself up about the whole thing. She goes back to work despite her boss and co-worker telling her she's in no state to serve drinks. And then Dorothy comes along and gives her a hug night, which at least brightens the mood a little. So, across the next few days, Jill gradually gets over it, and she decides to meet up with Gabby again to apologise. She also brings that unopened letter I mentioned earlier, which she now learns from Lenore. They meet up, they both apologise, they open the letter together, and it says, sorry. Ever since they broke up, Jill had blamed herself for it, but this letter shows that Lenore felt remorse too. If they had both met up, they could have at least made amends before Lenore passed away. Jill knows this, but she thinks it best to move on and celebrate Lenore's life. And that's where the game ends. I didn't mean for this comedic video to take such a depressing turn, but it can't be helped. At least there are post-credit scenes to lighten the mood. This game is a masterpiece. It truly is. I've never felt so immersed and at peace with a video game. It's like I was destined to play it or something. Which is why it has earned the highest level of respect it can possibly receive. Being my second favourite game of all time. Sorry, but nothing beats out Hollow Knight. In fact, a little birdie told me there's a sequel in the works called Nirvana. So you can expect to see my first impressions of that when it comes out. So, thanks for watching, and sorry for not uploading in 3 months. Truth be told, I had a bunch of ideas for my next video, but none of them really went anywhere. But I decided to stick with this, and personally I think it paid off. I really put a lot of effort into this one, because y'all are amazing, and I want to make content that's at least somewhat entertaining. So you could consider this my Christmas present to you, if you like. And if I don't upload again this year, which I probably won't, then I wish you a lovely new year. Also, I'd like to give a special thank you to CMeeCraft Gaming, a relatively niche YouTuber who does challenge videos. He did a video on this game, and that's how I found out about it. If you like this video, I'd recommend checking it out. Link is in the description if you're interested. I highly doubted even watching this video, but it seemed right to give him a shout out. On an unrelated note, I am now advertising my Discord server. I normally wouldn't say this in the video, but I doubt most of you would check the description if I didn't tell you. Join if you want. It's a very small server and we're not expecting many new people, but it's there if you want it. As always, the link is in the description. As for the future of this channel, I think I want to focus on making these review type videos going forward. I have a few other ideas in mind, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And I'm sorry if you were expecting another Mega Man video, but you've got to change things up every once in a while. Besides, this game is really personal to me, and I wanted to do it justice. Of course, if people want it, I can make the X3 dashless as well. Maybe I can turn it into a sort of side series, though I'm unsure of how long I can make the concept of not dashing still interesting. I worry that by the time we reach X4, the novelty will have worn off, but I guess time will tell. Well, I have to go. I can already hear the horny police knocking down my door. I'm on a wanted list, you know. If I'm not back in a few months, consider me as good as dead. Gotta get out of here.
FBI, open up!
That's my cue. Bye everyone. Am I forgetting something? Oh yeah, thank you and good night.